Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. This is Friday Friends. Every Friday at 9 a.m., I am Deb Burton, your host and executive director of RI Elder Info. And Friday Friends is our podcast that we bring out to you the information that you or someone you know needs to know about. So make sure you hit the like button, the share button, the bells, the whistles, all of those cues that say, hey, check this out. Because there has been so much in the media lately that I have been having a hard time keeping up with. So I wanted to make sure that you got accurate information. I reached out to a friend of mine who has been on our show before so that we can get accurate information about what is happening with Social Security these days and how you can go about getting a hold of them. So I am really glad that I have my guest coming on today, a dear friend of mine, and I really need you to hit the share button on this to get the information out to folks. Now, as you know, we are a nonprofit. We could not do this without the support of our sponsors. So a big thank you to Point 32 Health Foundation, as well as United Healthcare, and especially McCarthy Law. Here's a message from McCarthy Law.
Here at McCarthy Law, we practice in the areas of estate planning, long-term care planning, elder care law, and residential real estate. Our focus is really on providing peace of mind to our clients.
If you're interested in scheduling a consultation with our office, you can feel free to reach out to us at 401-541-5540. You can also reach out via website at www.mccarthylawri.com. You also should check out our social media, both on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for some helpful tips and tricks.
Hi, my friend Cheryl from Boston regional area for Social Security up on the 6th floor in Providence, even though it's Boston regional. And you are the public affairs specialist. Thank you for coming back on, my friend.
Good morning, Deb. Good morning, everybody out there watching us today, and happy Friday. It is a pleasure and an honor to be on with you, and I'm so excited to be here to discuss everything that's new and changing with Social Security and how to access us. I know that there is a lot of information out there, and as you said earlier, it is very confusing, and at times it can be confusing for all of us who are agency. So I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible for those listening at home. And I'm sure that you have some questions, Deb, that you want to ask me, and I'll be happy to address whatever I can at the time.
Absolutely. So I think like the biggest question that a lot of people have these days is, can people still call Social Security and get a real person, or can they go into the Social Security office if like whenever they can get a ride, or do they need an appointment to go into the office? Like, how do people reach you guys?
That is a great question. And that has unfortunately changed a little bit since I would say December of last year. We are now appointment based, and anybody that file for benefits, whether it be for Medicare, retirement, or disability, you do need to have an appointment with us. No longer can you just walk into a field office and file for benefits. If you call your local field office, you can make an appointment, and that appointment can be done over the telephone, or it can be done in person in the office if that's your preference. I know some people, want to have a face-to-face, and we are still continuing that service model. But unfortunately, definitely, when in doubt, I say call our office to see if you can to come in. But for the most part, it is appointment-based only.
Okay. Well, I guess with appointments, then it's not as much, sitting and waiting. I have the number down as the 1-800-772-1273, and that's available 9 to 4 local time, Monday through Friday.
That is correct, Deb. Absolutely correct. So individuals, like I said, just, call us in advance, make sure that, they can come on in. When they do call that number, to answer your question, they will get a human being. It is not strictly automated. So yes, we are there. We're in the field. We're waiting to hear from you.
Awesome. Awesome. Real people are the best.
Got it.
So there's been a whole lot about reaching out to Social Security to like verify your identity and all these things. Does everyone receiving Social Security now need to prove their identity? Like, well, and let me start there. Does everybody need to prove their identity for Social Security?
Not at this point. If you are already on benefits, receiving benefits, you do not need to contact us to prove your identity. There are instances where you will need to prove your identity. So, for example, if Social Security has placed a fraud block on your record, if you contact our office and want to make a change to your record or your benefits, we will require that you come into the office to verify your identity. And I'm sure recently you've heard in the news with the new administration that if you do file for retirement, Medicare, or disability benefits over the telephone, there may be instances that you may need to verify your identity. We do have new anti-fraud software that's been installed on our systems. And if we do take one of those claims over the telephone, if we get back an alert that we need to verify your identity, do not be surprised that we may call you to say, hey, can you come into the office? We do need to verify who you are. And you may say, well, how do I prove that? Well, we would just ask that you come in with your license. It needs to be non-expired, or a passport that is not expired. And we will ask you a series of questions. So that's how they can verify their identity. But for everybody to have to come on in or to contact us to prove their identity, they do not need to do that at this point in time.
And so somebody is filing a claim, and Social Security wants more information to prove that you're you. Is Social Security going to send a text with a link to verify your information, or will they call you on the phone and say, hey, tell me what your Social Security number is? Or is that a scam?
Well, that sounds like a scam to me. So just to protect yourself, Social Security will never call you out of the blue, or even if you had ongoing business with us, to say, we are doing checks, we want to verify your identity. Can you please confirm your Social Security number? Can you please confirm your date of birth and full legal name? Never will we do that. So please be wary that that is a scam. If we request that we need further identifying information from you, we will send you a letter in the mail. And the letter will usually read, we require further information from you, whether it's to update your address or your direct deposit information. Maybe we have something on your record that just isn't clicking. We will send you a letter in the mail, and there will be an established day and time, and your phone number will be on that letter. And the agent who is calling you, their name, phone number, and extension will be on that letter. So if you are still feeling leery about this, you have every right to call your local Social Security office to ask, is this a legitimate letter? Is this a legitimate agent that works in your office? So that you can have a sense of security that you are dealing directly with Social Security. We can never be too hypervigilant. There is so much scam out there. Unfortunately, we're living in times where people are profiting off of others, and so definitely do your homework, be your own advocate, and don't feel funny calling us.
And so if I'm understanding correctly, if Social Security needs more information to process your claim or whatever your inquiry was, they're going to mail you a letter. And on that letter, it's going to say, agent, John McConaughey, whatever. Agent number 12345 is going to call you at 2 p.m. on May 30th. And so you'll know that it's the right person because you'll get the call at 2 p.m. on May 30th, and that agent would be able to confirm the information.
That is correct. That is correct. And as I said a little bit earlier, if you recently filed for a claim and if something checked with our system, if we need to verify your identity, we are not going to call you up and say, we need your social security number, we need your date of birth, we need your name and address. We will call you and say, could you please come into the office with your verifying identification?
Okay.
So just to kind of give you a heads up about that.
No, I appreciate that. And when you said an unexpired driver's license, does it need to be the new Real ID things, or can it just be like a regular driver's license? Some folks didn't get the Real ID because they're not flying anywhere.
That's a real great, Deb. No, they do not need to have the Real IDs at this time. Our building is not in a federal building down here in Providence. However, there are some Social Security buildings that are in federal buildings, but at this time, we are not requiring that they have a Real ID.
Okay, that's good. So as things go forward, have there been any updates in 2025 to the Medicare enrollment process, which a lot of people find really challenging to begin with? Oh, did we break up? Oh, we might have broken up a little. Can you still hear me? There you are.
Can you hear me, Deb?
I can. There's a little bit of a delay, though. And I'm thinking it might be because of the weather going on outside. Can you still hear me? Uh-oh, you're frozen. Social Security is such a hot topic, we burned up the internet. Can you imagine? Ben, you want to hit pause for a minute? There we go. How about now?
We're good.
I was saying, Social Security is such a hot topic. We just burned up the internet. So have there been updates to the 2025 Medicare enrollment process?
So there are a couple of new changes that have come through with Medicare, with the enrollment process. Effective January 1st of this year, Medicare Part D enrollees have a $2,000 annual cap on out-of-pocket expenses for the prescription drugs. So that's a huge win for the American people, definitely. And also in 2025, individuals that are eligible for our extra help program through Medicare, or those that are duly entitled for Medicare and Medicaid, can make changes to their prescription drug coverage once per month. So it used to be that they could only make changes once per quarter, but now they can make changes once per month. So that's also another very positive change for our beneficiaries. So they can definitely look forward to having those options available to them. And lastly, I know that this doesn't answer your question, but I did want to discuss this because I think that's so very important to discuss Medicare Part B and Part D. For this year, our Medicare Part B premiums are $185.10 per month. However, there are some beneficiaries that may have to pay more for their Medicare and Part D plans, and it's due to their modified gross income from 2 years prior. So a lot of people are not aware that everyone seems to think that we all pay the same amount for Part D and Part B. But that is not true, and it's not well known throughout the community. So Medicare decides how much to charge you for your Part B premium from what your modified adjusted gross income is from 2 years prior. So, for example, your 2025 Medicare premiums for Part B and D are based on your tax return from 2023. So there have been some changes for 2025 as far as what the new guidelines are. So I will refer folks to go to our website, check out what those are, and to see if you will be impacted by this premium surcharge.
Okay. And just for people to understand, Medicare Part A, what does that cover?
Right. So Medicare Part A is usually free if you've worked and paid enough into Medicare taxes. Part A is hospital insurance, is what they call it, and it covers being in the hospital for overnight stays. And also, it covers some limited care at home by a skilled RN or skilled nursing care. Part B, as in boy, is $185.10 for most people. Like I said, there are some individuals that may need to pay more depending on what their modified adjusted gross income was from 2 years prior. But Part B covers 80% of your everyday type of medical care. So your x-rays, lab work, blood work. There is 20% that is not covered by Part B. And that's where folks generally will get themselves a supplemental plan, like a Medigap C plan, to cover those expenses. And there are no prescription coverage in the Part B. So individuals would need to look at getting a Part D plan for prescriptions. There are no vision or dental coverage plans in traditional Medicare. But there are Medicare Advantage plans that are out there that do cover those items and are pretty much more all-inclusive, so to speak.
Okay, so Medicare A is the hospitals.
Mhm.
Medicare B is your doctor's visits, your lab work. Medicare D is the prescription drugs, so D for drugs.
Correct.
And it's the Part B, as in boy, that may have a different premium based on what your income was in 2023.
And Part D as in dog.
Oh, okay. Both. Yeah. Okay.
And
now,
if everybody a little hint, so to speak, of that, they can, if you've had what we call a life-changing event, you can ask that your Part B and Part D premium be either adjusted or adjusted back to normal if you've had a life-changing event. And what is a life-changing event for Social Security? You've recently retired. You've had a spouse who's retired. God forbid you've had a spouse who's recently passed away, or you were recently divorced, or you sold income producing property. So you'd want to just contact Social Security, your local field office, and ask for them to help you with the process of getting your Part B and Part D premium readjusted.
Okay. So it's not, set it and forget it. If you have a life change, there is a chance that there could be some modifications to the cost.
Absolutely.
That's really good. If someone does lose their spouse, and usually the funeral director handles notifying Social Security and that kind of thing, do you have to be proactive about reaching out to Social Security if you need to continue to receive your spouse's Social Security benefits?
That's another great question. Yes, generally the funeral homes will notify Social Security that your loved one has passed away. There are times, because there is nothing that is perfect, there are times that they do not, for whatever reason, let us know. We always recommend that you contact Social Security, regardless, even if the funeral home says we will take care of this, because you want to apply for benefits. And there is a benefit that's called the lump sum death benefit. It's a one-time payment of $255 that would get paid to a surviving spouse or a minor child. So you'd want to apply for that. And also you'd want to explore your options for survivor benefits. Whether you want to take survivor benefits at the time of the passing of your loved one, or whether you want to take it at a future date, we will explore all of your financial options at that point in time. So it's very wise no matter what, even if the funeral home says they'll take care of it, contact us because you could be leaving benefits on the table that you could definitely need.
And that wouldn't necessarily be something that would be the funeral director's responsibility to take care of for you, because of all the security changes. Social Security wants to know they're talking to the real person.
That is correct. That is correct. And a lot of people are under the false impression that the funeral home can, once they send over the information that your loved one has passed away, that they will automatically be put onto benefits and that they will automatically get that one-time payment of $255. It's unfortunately not an automatic process.
Got it. Got it. I would imagine these days, they're tightening up to make sure that the proper people are receiving payments, things like that. A question in relation to verifying your identity. Can it be done online? Is that something that you can verify your identity online if you're making changes, if somebody passes, that kind of thing?
So there are times that you can verify your identity online with us. We do have a program. If you were in the process of trying to change your direct deposit through your My Social Security account, and for whatever reason, if you had troubles or difficulties, you can actually request that a PIN be sent to yourself. And if you're on the phone with a Social Security agent, we will ask you for your security PIN. And at that point in time, we can verify your identity. We are also, as of May 10th, this is kind of a little aside, but it kind of goes with what you're discussing. As of May 10th, we now are offering folks who have a My Social Security account that they can have a virtual digital Social Security card. So as I said, if you have a My Social Security account, if you are somewhere, whether you're trying to apply for a loan or you need to show housing, your Social Security card, if you don't have your physical card, you pull up your My SSA account and you can show them your digital Social Security card. So we are doing this. It's convenient, it's secure, and it's safe.
That is really cool. So with all of the changes that have been coming, and I suspect there may be more coming in the future, how is Social Security communicating that? Are they I heard that it's only on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I'm not really sure, how do we go about getting up-to-date information if we're not on that Twitter X thing? What is our way to get updated information? I know right now I forgot my password for the X Twitter thing. And so how do we get the updates for that? Oh no, Cheryl, we lost your sound, huh? Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Cheryl can't hear me. Oh, sometimes we have a little technical difficulties. But for Social Security, I've heard that they're only communicating updates on the X or the Twitter thing. Is that true? How will people know if they're not on the X platform? Can you hear me now? Let's see. Can you hear me? You can't hear me, can you? You can't hear me. Let's see. We've lost audio. Now, and then we'll wrap. So Cheryl, I've heard a lot that Social Security is moving over to the X Twitter platform thing. How can people get the information if they're not on that platform?
Well, Deb, as we said at the very beginning of this session, things have been changing rapidly. So the administration has decided that they are no longer going to go that route. So we will now be communicating with the public and the American people via our website, which is www.ssa.gov. Um, Not exclusively through X. So I'm glad to report that there will be more areas where individuals can get information and how to access our benefits and services. And so that is definitely changed. And just before we wrap up, I just wanted to discuss two really important changes that have happened for this year. And I'm sure a lot of you who are at home may have heard that if you want to change your direct deposit with Social Security, you can no longer do that service option over the phone. You must come into a Social Security field office, or you can change your direct deposit online through your My Social Security account. So, unfortunately, you cannot do it over the phone. I know it's not convenient for folks to travel into an office, but I urge everyone, if you are tech savvy, to create a MySSA account. You will be able to make changes to your record via that service channel. So that's our first major change for 2025. One other change, I know we're pressed against time, but in January of this year, the administration signed the Social Security Fairness Act. It was signed into law January 5th. This is a huge win for millions of beneficiaries. This law repealed the windfall elimination provision, otherwise known as WEP, and the as GPO. And what this law is repealing, it's reduced or eliminates Social Security benefits for those who were receiving a non-covered pension and were receiving Social Security. So no longer will beneficiaries' benefits be reduced. Their benefits will become unreduced. Our agency is working on this as we speak. There will be retroactive payments that will increase beneficiaries' benefits, and our beneficiaries can expect to get a one-time retroactive deposit into their accounts. And
Nice.
yeah, the retroactive monies will go back to January of 2024. So we are expected to get everybody's benefits fixed and paid properly. We're now estimating November of this year, so November of 2025. Everybody who was affected by WEP and GPO, their benefits will go up, and folks that are coming on to benefits now will no longer have their Social Security be reduced. So the Social Security Fairness Act, like I said, we're adjusting 3 million beneficiaries' records. So it's exciting news for folks. We have some individuals that are just, elated to get some extra monies in their pocket to do things that they truly need to do. So I just quickly wanted to discuss those two major changes for our agency.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot going on. I hope I can convince you to come back on the show at another time as well to kind of catch us up when more changes roll out, because this has been great. I feel like there's so much happening, and keeping track of it all has been challenging. So I'm glad that you were able to come on today, and I would love to have you back on again.
Love that. I would love that. This is my passion. This is what I do for a living, and it's not just a living. It's helping others. Our mission remains the same: to provide social insurance programs and benefits to those who are disabled, to those who are retired, and to those who have lost a loved one. Things are changing rapidly, but our mission will never change, and that's why I'm with the agency. So thank you very much for having me on today. Happy Friday, everybody. Be well and safe.
Thank you, Sha.
Thank-
Everybody, Cheryl Tudino is just a wonderful human being. She works at Social Security, obviously, as the public affairs specialist. If you have questions or concerns, please hit the rewind, check out some of the information that was shared. It was a lot. It was awesome. And always remember, you can call Social Security at the 1-800-772-1213 and reach a real human being 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. So those are always options, but don't go without, get your questions answered. And I'll wrangle Cheryl into coming back on to discuss Social Security and Medicare more at another day. So again, hit the like button, the share button, because the stuff we talked about today is mission critical for so many of our older adults and individuals with disabilities. We've got to get this update out to as many people as possible. Now, as always, I am grateful that you were able to join us here today. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meantime, be well and be kind.